This conference will now be recorded.
Right.
It's red.
It was quiet, I heard it.
Hold on, I gotta mute this computer, that's why. Yeah, I think
We're good?
Yeah.
All right. The Parks Committee for the Town of Cottage Grove will hold a public meeting on Monday, August 29th, 2022 at 6:30 at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. Call the meeting to order. We have the minutes for May 24th.
Like to move to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carried. Next item, review the 2022 Parks budget and use of funds. We have ordered the zip line, but they were saying, what, not until next month sometime,
Yeah.
that they would be in to install it. So that 15,000 will be used up from there. And I don't think we've had any other expenses. Have you gotten those steps fixed?
No,
Shame on you.
yeah, I've been busy. We haven't even got torn apart yet.
Okay,
It's on my list of things to do though.
move it up on the list. Before snow flies.
Yeah,
Any questions on what we've done so far this year, or proposing to do? Okay, then we will go to discuss and consider recommendations for the town board regarding construction of a shelter behind the town hall in 2023. Who wants to begin?
Did the estimate from Coolard include all the hooking up of the electrical, or is it just to install the panels and then we're looking at getting an electrician to tie that in?
He isn't very explicit.
right.
No.
I don't think, I doubt that it does. Because he doesn't spell it out that it does.
Yeah, I saw yesterday, the electricity hasn't been even installed yet. I mean, the wiring's there, but nothing's been hooked up. Even a lot of the panels aren't even hooked.
Oh,
I was there on Friday and Ryan Nichols was there, the electrician, and he was working on it. I
Okay.
know. And I did take some pictures of the panel. Maybe
Yeah, I
he
did
was
too.
still working on that at the time, but it looked like he was nearly completed. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, there was just a lot of wire pulled, but nothing was, which kind of surprised me if it was put up in May,
Right, right.
you know.
We're probably waiting on equipment till now.
Mhm.
I'd love to see those because I hadn't been able to drive over there.
Okay,
Thank you for doing that.
I think I got 2 batches here, so I'm happy to. And I did take, this Brian told me about another little area that was built right behind the police department in Deerfield. And it's a smaller little thing that Mr. Couillard has made, and it's adorable. It's just the cutest little thing, much smaller than what we would need, but it's all redwood and it's got a little cookout area and just really neat. But Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
It is adorable.
it is. But that's right behind the police department there and apparently where Couillard has his business. That's from me.
So I think Chris. Sure. Actually drove down, looked at it pretty good.
So just kind of putting all the numbers together, it looks like the structure itself would be 35-ish, probably 40 if they erect it for us, unless we've got somebody that's gonna do
Yeah.
that. Probably 10 for the pad, and then 30 for the solar, unless there's some grants available, or maybe that price already includes, since they seem to talk about doing grants, I wonder if that has it included already or not. So that puts us at just over 80, not counting any electrical work.
Or we could do it we could do the structure 1 year and the solar the following year, too.
I don't think you would have a roof then,
Right.
because the solar panels are the roof.
Right, the other thing is you gotta come up with the concrete, that's separate too.
Yeah,
Well, that's the 10 that I assumed was the pad.
Right, which which is probably overestimated.
But I did a pad bigger than that 2
you
years
go
ago.
with
and it was
18 by 36,
So
Yeah,
18 by 36 size, or we,
probably a little bit larger. You know, the other thing is
1860.
is an 18 by 36 going to be enough for the number of picnic tables
Picnic
you want?
tables. They're 8-footers that we generally have.
Most are, they get. You can get 6 or 8.
You know, I mean, one option we could do is, go with the 18 by 36 and just down the road, if we wanted to, we could add on to it. Because this is the type of structure you can add to, it,
Yeah.
looking at the timber construction.
Mhm.
The only thing is you may want to do a larger pad to start with.
Right. Do that
Right,
for what your future plans will be while they're there.
right. And what Deerfield did, it appears that it's just at the edge of what the roof is at. So any type of runoff goes off the concrete. So, yeah, you probably want to do something a little larger. It's what, 22.5 by 37.5, or the other one was 30 foot, the canopy. So take that into account for your slab.
And then would they just put a separate meter on it and that meter off here then? It's like a cost savings measure? Or would they tie it in and try to use it for this building for power?
It makes more sense to use it for the building because that's
Yeah.
where you're going to get your savings,
Yeah. Not that we use that much, but we might as well take advantage of it.
Now, the other thing we didn't take into account any type of lighting or anything, which you'll want to, or outlets in the structure itself.
Gotta be electrician costs too, doing his,
Yeah,
to install that.
yeah, because you'd want some LED lighting on it somewhere and a couple outlets.
Right, which isn't going to be much for down
No.
there.
No,
Just be whether or not you wanna hide the wiring in the post or not.
just put it in conduit.
Just that's exposed conduit.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, the lighting isn't an issue. It would just be any outlets.
did anybody take a look at those structures from Forever Redwood?
Yeah, the catalog link that you
Yeah.
said, they're beautiful. And there was one I responded back and said, okay, this is my vote, but I didn't know where it went from there. But I did pick out one that
Well, I
liked.
just did like an online quick quote on that one, 20 by 30, and it's $90,000.
That's probably why it was so pretty.
What did you pick, redwood?
Just just the typical ones, so, no, I think it was the Doug fir.
Oh,
I didn't upgrade to the, it doesn't show everything, I guess, on the same screen here,
you
but.
don't want to go to the redwood. That was very expensive.
Yeah.
But what I really liked, and I appreciated getting the link to those different designs, because I thought it really fulfilled what we had talked about of having an attractive structure that would be photogenic and party ready for
Yeah.
people to have social things there and feel like they're in a nice place.
Right.
So I liked it. I don't know if we can afford it at some point, but just sort of the question. But the style and the quality looked really excellent.
I like the looks of them very much.
And that might be another time to reopen the conversation with the Cottage Grove Community Foundation about the fundraising component, if it was beyond what the parks budget could handle, but we felt was a worthwhile improvement.
Mhm.
So I mean, I still feel like after John came to this group and spoke, I don't know, a few months ago, you're still looking for projects. So if we were falling short or wanted to, kind of think about, okay, that would be a margin of excellence kind of question, that's the right role for the foundation.
Yeah,
So I'm totally willing to approach that group about it if we decided we wanted to go forward, but needed to get serious about where the money could come from to match whatever the town had available to
Mhm.
commit. Which is my way of saying, I really want something beautiful, if we can have it. So it's how do we go
Yeah.
forward with that?
Can you bring their website up and everybody can look again at them? And did we decide on what our maximum size would be and what we would build initially?
I've only heard 20 by 30 thrown around, basically, is what the number I keep hearing thrown around.
And I think that was roughly based on picnic tables size.
So building 20 by 30 roughly in cement, would we want to go what size?
You're thinking longer.
Yeah,
Right, based on the roof, the overhang would probably determine pretty much how far we want to go, because we don't want to drop it in on the concrete.
no. Then instead of 30 feet wide, do we want cement 50, 60?
If you want to accommodate any type of addition down the road, you may want to think about that, but I mean,
Or
just to go.
even if it was a nice day that people didn't want to be inside, they could move
Right.
their picnic tables.
Or even have some outside
Out
as
there.
well.
Oh, and that reminds me,
Yeah.
the picnic table that's back there, the round one, can you take that to the PD?
Police department?
Yeah,
Sure.
they want one.
They don't use it?
They're gonna lose that.
Oh.
They're gonna lose that cutout.
Oh.
Snyder's supposed to do
I
it
think
sometime
this is
this
the
year.
one you liked?
Yes, look at it. Doesn't it look pretty? And I just really thought the style, I just instantly was seeing all the things we had talked about with, oh, what a beautiful structure to highlight on some of our website and materials and like maybe make it available for rental. I think that would have some appeal. Because it's so pretty from the front. I mean, you could just see the, I see the photo op already.
Yeah,
Yes.
And I just think it would really complement, it's the, I don't know what those are called, flying buttresses or whatever the part is that seems, the architectural detail was great. I think maybe your question about what material to make it out of, I mean, maybe not redwood, but.
yeah, I was
you know,
thinking Doug fir.
Yeah,
Right.
so I think that this design of it would work almost no matter which wood
Yeah.
type, so. Thanks for doing that, Kim.
And instead of having just the slanted roof, now you've got a a two, or, I don't know what you call it, but a roof.
Shed roof,
Yeah,
yeah.
instead of just the one slant.
Yeah, you got a peak
But
into the.
I'm sure that adds to the cost. But it's beautiful.
Well, yeah, that's where you get your architecture, all the
Yeah.
beams.
Is that the one that you had priced, Kim?
Yes. Back there.
What
Horses.
size was the one you,
20 by 30.
okay.
Do that.
And that style also looks like you could add on to it pretty easy too. I mean, really. You get 10 years down the road and it's not big enough.
Or maybe if you wanted to, you could put a pergola on that side.
Yeah,
You know, it wouldn't.
Well, somewhere here, I found a link for that.
The other thing we had also talked about is possibly walling off like one side and then putting like some type of counter set up there.
You know, some of those things we could do
Down the road,
in following year budgets as we
right. Right. And you
are
could even-
able to.
Yeah, and you could even bring more of the rustic barn type image that we were kind of talking about
Right.
last meeting,
Yeah.
in with that.
So this is what I did. I did 30 long by 20 wide. No privacy panels, wood grade. I just did the Doug fir, which added 0. And then down here, select options, I did no curtain rods, no ceiling fan base, pavilion height 8.5 feet. I didn't do the electrical trim. I didn't do the post decorative trim. I didn't really do anything other than, I guess I did the, just the transparent sealant, which is the standard. That's what I kind of did. And that was $90,460.
That doesn't include any type of concrete.
That doesn't include concrete. It doesn't include
Electrical.
any wiring, lighting, all that stuff, right?
Or
Grading.
I think it
You're
did.
supposed to be able to put it together yourself.
that won't be me.
Had like the labeled just instructions or whatever, didn't it? Was that the one or is it this one?
This one comes with ready to assemble yourself. And
Is
that
that
one
so?
includes
Okay.
assembly.
They do have our white glove assembly available in all 50 states, but
Yeah.
that doesn't include that now. So. Gives you an idea though. I mean, so you probably got to add. You're probably 125,000 by the time you get
That was a number that was in my mind too when you said that. Yeah,
to that.
it's really helpful to have some kind of a price tag like that, even to be able to go to a group like the foundation and say, this is the kind of project we're thinking about. Do you have lead donors? Are there people who are interested in this kind of project? I mean,
Yeah.
because, it's amazing to me how generous people can be when they have a project that they care about. And so, in my kind, that I'm very willing to take that out and ask if we feel like it'd be a functional need that would be used.
Did they have another one on their website that wasn't quite as fancy?
Is this one?
Yeah.
See,
They're all
Can you-
beautiful, aren't they? And,
Yeah.
I mean, so they just vary in the details of the.
If you price that
Sure.
one with basically the same thing that you put on the first one, I'm just wondering what the difference is.
8x8 posts are the most popular. This sure doesn't work very fast here. I don't know what happened. Hold on, just kicked me out somewhere.
I think they'd probably have to have a standard based on the span. If you're trying to come up with the 20-foot.
Right, so let's go. Just jumping all over the place here. Now it's over here. 30 by 20. No privacy panels, Doug fir. Fascia boards for gutters. None of this other stuff. 9-foot posts. So that one is 53.
Wow, half as much. That's great. That's good to know.
And this is Toledo wood, timber Toledo. So that-
Kim, what was the name of the other style?
Cardinal's nest.
Yeah, it's really helpful. I just looked at them. So open to whatever direction we want to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you're going to erect, it's going to be there a long, long time.
Yeah, good point.
And probably, you know, if they haven't seen the fancier one, the not so fancy one would probably look just as good to most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess of the three, which one do we want to try and sell to the town board?
I mean, you could, it wouldn't be the actual roof made out of solar panels, but you could probably put solar panels on something like this if you wanted solar electricity.
Yeah,
That's another thing you can add to it too.
Yeah.
right. Because the one side would be facing south.
Mhm.
And just set it up to run the shelter
Right.
versus feed back into the building.
And where is this company out of? Did you?
California. Somewhere out west.
But they have people in every state then.
That's what they say.
I kind of always have a feeling that I'd like to buy local if we can, or stay as local as possible. But I understand that these are beautiful and stuff, but
I mean, there's probably somebody local that could do something like this. If you use this as a, here's kind of what we'd like to see, what can you do with that? But off the top of my head, I wouldn't know who to go to.
Well, I'm sure these people could do it too, you know.
Right, I mean, they just cut off the solar guy and then they just give you a price to
Yeah.
build their structure. I know they do all kinds of timber structures.
You know, if we did it late in the year, we could spread the solar roof into the next year.
Right.
Not that that gets us anything going next year, but
Right.
How does the process work for this kind of a scale of project in terms of bids or estimates? Or, I mean, I'm just sort of thinking about how my limited familiarity with the university, we would sort of get a request for proposals together and send it out and say, this is what we want, and kind of get us
Right.
in 3 or 4 places.
We would have to do that because it's over 25,000.
Yeah.
But you have discretion as to what you want to pick.
Yeah, that's it. And so it's sort of, at this stage, still sort of, what would we want to get bids on?
Yeah.
In terms of size, you're saying 20 by 30 and concrete pad and, I mean, I don't know, are we at a stage where we want to see what who would want to bid on it? I don't know. I don't have a sense of that. I don't know how that works here. I'm just saying, because I agree 100% with the point about if we had someone local or regional that we would want to invite to bid.
Yeah, I mean, we could break it up so that we were only doing the cement pad.
Mhm.
And then bid the building or the structure.
Mhm, mhm.
And the electrical or the plumbing.
I mean, I don't know
Right.
how deluxe of plans you need to go out for bid to get apples to apples comparisons.
Right.
How far down that line you gotta go.
You gotta have your, whatever design shelter you wanna go with. You have to have that decided and then
Yeah.
they'd have to bid on, everybody had to bid on
Yeah.
the same thing.
And the same plans,
Cause you might find somebody wants to general the whole thing too.
yeah,
That'll do it all.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, we're just making a recommendation, and then it's really up to the board to decide if they're gonna approve it or not.
Yeah, they have to find the money. We've got like 21,000 in that one fund
Mhm.
that would be available for Kennedy Hills Park improvement fee and the recreation improvement impact fee. I don't know if we would want to use all of that or what portion, but
I mean, you could take some of it and pour the pad this year.
yeah,
Work on the rest of the design to,
As
Put
long
out
as
for
you're
bid.
sure that your
Right.
pad's gonna be right for the design that you come up with.
Right, do you have to put the footings in or anything when you put the concrete down? You have to
Yeah,
know what's going on top where, right?
right, but if you're gonna, if you know we want a 20 by 30 to start with,
yeah.
then, we'll know where those posts go.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they'll just run the footings, the length, wherever the post will sit.
kind
Yeah.
of standard
Run it the
thing.
full length.
I think it'll be the whole perimeter. I mean, more than likely.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, unless you have your concrete go past, which you probably will, because the posts are gonna sit in from the roof line.
Right.
Mhm.
You probably have a 24 by 34, unless you want to, have the outside area for additional picnic tables.
Yeah,
I mean, that's another cost too, is come up with picnic tables.
So is it feasible to go back to the bigger board and say the Parks Committee was looking at this and we'd like to proceed with research on parks structure? Is that okay? Like, I'm just, what do we really ask? As opposed to saying, hey, we found this thing in the catalog we want. Can you? It doesn't feel like quite the right, but I just don't know how the process works.
we have to get the board to buy into spending the money. And then they're going to have to find it when they do their budget.
Fair.
and they're gonna have to spend money in design too.
Yeah.
I mean, up front to have a plan set to put out for bid,
Yeah,
so. You have to agree to that, and I don't have any idea what that's gonna cost.
Do those websites offer like to drawing?
I think that's part of what you buy.
Right. The timber framer does. I know the guy out of Baraboo.
Baraboo.
Yeah. He'll put together his design. I
So
mean,
we could send him the picture from
right,
that one place and say, okay, we want something that's going to look
right.
like this in this size. Give us a price.
Or he'd even have other structures he's
That is
put out
already
that are,
built,
yes,
that would fit that.
Yep. Now it'll be, he's gonna have to add on costs for a roof. We'd have to look in to see, do we want an asphalt roof? Do we want metal?
Metal.
Yes. Standing seam.
Yeah, I never want to have to worry about it. I think you're well worth spending the little bit more money on metal and not
Right.
having to worry about somebody reshingling it in 30 years or 50 years, whatever.
Then you got options there too. I mean, you get standing seam or you've got the new metal type shingles,
Yeah,
which actually have held up real well.
they have. I have them on my house.
Oh, okay.
So what direction do we want to go? Do we have a design that we like? Do you like the 90 or the 53 or the?
I mean, we're at roughly 90 with the
30?
proposed with the solar and the roof by the time you do it all.
Yeah.
Once you add it all up, it's about 90. I mean, maybe we just put forward a recommendation to consider it at roughly $100,000 and then, you know, probably tack on 10% because it's going to go up next year.
Right, yeah.
That seems like a really helpful starting number just
Yeah.
to work with. And if there was a gigantic sticker shock and we had to dial it back, maybe we're not ready for the project yet. Or
Right.
maybe that is another question then about seeking community partners. I don't know that that was a motion, but I was ready to second your motion. I'm like, yeah, that sounded great. Let's do that.
But which of the three designs would we want to try to get to if we can afford it?
So what, the one that, with the solar roof panels, I mean, so that's supposed to feed back to this building? Is that something that we're looking for? Or are we really just looking for solar on, to light up the new structure?
I think the one in Deerfield does both.
Yeah, is that something we're looking to do?
Well, if the whole roof is panels, you're gonna wanna do both.
Yeah.
You won't wanna use it just for the shelter.
Yeah.
It won't get
I
used.
mean, is that enough of a benefit for us to spend that kind of money on solar, or, I don't know, is that?
Probably power everything you need.
I'd be happy with any of these.
You could go to Timberite's website and they've got a lot of photos of
Awesome.
similar structures
Right.
to the ones that
Right.
are on there already.
Right.
I mean, to a little bit of an extent for me, I wouldn't die on any hill related to which style. I feel like we're in the ballpark and all of them would be really attractive. So
Okay,
I don't think I could say that one was worth 18,000 more than this one or anything like that. So I don't want to weigh in on
I mean, I'm just
your question,
asking,
even though I heard your question. I was like,
is that a benefit that we're looking for out of this project, is to power this building, or is that just a side perk that might come out of it?
Well, I know the board's been looking at solar already, so.
it would be a side perk, but when we looked at solar to just power this building, we don't use enough electricity to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
now,
It'd be grid tied and you'd get, you know, 12 cents a kilowatt back from Alliant on it.
Yeah,
They're powering the fire department in Deerfield. What if we transferred up there? Well,
we could, but then we have to bring in the village
oh, got it. Okay.
because it's part their building too, and they pay
Okay.
part of the electrical.
Okay. All
When
right.
you checked into those, did you have the shop included?
Oh, there you go.
I believe we had the shop included with this building. I don't think we included the cold storage.
Which we never,
Doesn't get,
we don't use hardly any power down there.
yeah.
So solar is
Not really a big deal. then,
maybe
is
not a
it?
huge factor then.
I think it's always something we could look at later to add.
I just wondered if there was a benefit, like some kind of a you know,
Rebates
yeah,
from the,
rebate or something that comes back to us for doing that. And it looks good to the community too, in a way.
yeah,
That's
Probably
why
ours.
I asked, I'm just wondering if like there's been a preference to go that direction because of the solar green aspect of it, or is that just a side perk and not really the reason for this project?
I think it's secondary. I think the structure is what people that would use it and that are down there now would appreciate.
Right. And you may want to do a small add-on just for the structure.
Mhm,
That way you're not running power out there.
Yeah.
right.
So I can put in that we're going to ask for 110, quote unquote, and we can go to the guy in Baraboo and see if he can give us a price on that 20 by 30 that's going to look something like one of those pictures.
And he has similar stuff on his
Yeah.
website. He has similar stuff, so.
And see what he comes back with price.
Well, so what I asked him, I mean, you have this quote from him here for 35,
Right.
Tom Holmes, and that was, should have printed the rest of it, but I sent him a picture, I think, of one from his website that, or it might have been the one from here, that was, we're looking for something like this. So that's where that came from.
Okay.
Was it in here? He said the 18 by 36, the deer structure. Yeah, I think I cut it out of his website and showed him that, but I said in the 20 by 30 type of a size.
So we should have him send us a picture of what that structure looks like. That's the 18 by 36,
Here, Let's
the
see the website.
35.
It's,
Is that this one?
Glenville timber rates. You're there, okay.
What, did you find a picture? Oh, he didn't, these aren't links anyway, never mind. Let's see, gallery.
Yeah, that's where,
Did you go with outdoor structures?
yep, outdoor structures.
And I think I sent him, I asked him about this one without the,
Not the concrete.
without the brick pillars.
Okay.
And that's what he was quoting on here was 35,000.
Without a roof because you're using the solar roof, so
18 by 36. No, pre-cut Douglas fir timber frame structure ready for assembly on a concrete pad you would provide.
And then contact the Couillard for the
So
pricing on the
that, yeah,
roof.
so that isn't with a roof like this, I guess, which wasn't really what I was asking, but they have, there's one.
It's not bad.
Yeah, don't you go?
I think it's pretty much the same thing. So, I mean, I can go back and clarify with him, but what if we just want a standard roof, metal roof like this?
Yeah, standing seam.
I don't know where he got the solar idea really anyway, based on what I asked him, but, because that's not what I was really asking. But, okay,
And see what he comes back with the price for a structure like that without the brick pillars and with a metal roof.
You could wrap those with stone on the bottom ourselves too.
Oh, after,
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
yeah.
I know, because I was thinking when you said, I was like, oh darn, I like that.
I know, it looks
Look
good.
at it, you're stripping off all the decorative details. Fine, yes, while you're asking for the money.
That helps you hide your outlets and stuff
Show
too,
'em.
stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I think the solar part has come with him teaming up with the
Mhm.
solar company, and then they're building these all over. A lot of municipalities, Dane County, I know has a number of them.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
do you need a motion?
Sure.
I wanted to second. For someone to say what we decided.
Motion to recommend a park shelter at an estimated cost of $110,000,
Roughly 20 by 30 in size.
roughly 20 by 30 in size.
That sounds perfect. I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discuss and prioritize future uses and needs of all the town parks. I don't know that other than the steps in the one, we still have to repair those, but I haven't seen or heard of anything, any other requests for anything else in any of the parks.
What steps are these?
Pardon?
What steps are these that you're talking about?
It's on a small slide system in Nundle Park.
Nondale Heights,
Okay.
It's flaking off and rusting.
rubberized coating or whatever it was is off, and so the metal is sharp and visible.
I'm wondering if we want to, because I know on our area type website for community, for just subdivisions, there's been a lot of talk about pickleball. If we want to look at the idea of possibly looking at some of these basketball courts, turning them into pickleball.
Or could we add on to the opposite end of it?
Yeah, something like that, because they are a little bit larger than I think the basketball courts that are there. I mean, basically all it is a pad that you buy a net for.
Yeah,
That's the expense.
Do you have a certain park that would be the best fit for it, or?
Nice level one. You know, and that,
does the village have one?
they're building two, I
Two
believe.
right now, yeah.
Yeah,
Fireman's Park?
Green Park, yeah.
so.
They're on the plan for the new subdivision too, but that's what, 2 years away yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
22-acre park they got. I don't know how they're gonna fill that yet.
Where's that?
The new Hamburg subdivision, where the rock quarry sits right now.
Okay.
Ellery Jensen's farm.
Yeah. I know we gotta.
Because that would just be blacktop surface,
Right, right. It can't,
a couple stripes on it somewhere, probably.
right, it's basically the court, I want to say is 22 by 40 is a court size, and it's just painted off like a basketball court to some,
Yeah,
like a tennis, it's just a small tennis court is what it really is. And I think the material is like blacktop, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's got the grip like a tennis court does. Right.
Right.
That's just an application they put over it.
yeah, over the blacktop. But would they generally fit on the opposite end of the basketball court, even though it would be
You're
wider?
gonna add them to it, yeah.
Yeah. Because usually those are on a flat area. It would just extend it.
Some of the parks, that's about the biggest flat area in the park, though, is the basketball court area, but so there's quite a few that are flat throughout the whole park. They could put it anywhere.
Yeah,
You probably want a little distant, little gap because people are playing basketball. And the ball gets loose and pickleball
Yeah.
is a little different.
We have down here on,
Rolling wheels,
yeah,
basketball court there.
but there's a big area that's not used that we could fit one in there probably
Mm-hmm.
and have it separated.
Mm-hmm. Bass Park, there's a lot of space too. Even though you get soccer and now is it playing?
Okay, we can look into that.
Non-roll pretty flat too.
Anything else?
I had 2 wish list things from my sample size of one family. So, there's not an easy place for kids to practice shot put and discus throws. And they need a throwing circle for that kind of thing.
Oh, just the 8x8 concrete pad
Yeah,
with the metal ring and board.
because my daughter has now been a varsity discus thrower, so I've learned quite a bit about this. And yeah, you need the starting spot, and they can't throw more than,
My initial thought is liability
sure, right?
for the town, because we would almost have to have that whole thing fenced.
They have one at the middle school, don't they?
They do.
Yes, or by the baseball.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, shot put isn't gonna
Would be no
be
different.
errant in quite the same way as
Baseball.
A discus,
baseball. Yeah, but just mentioning that as you're thinking about structural things, concrete pad for that. And still on the wish list, and my sample size of one family is the disc golf baskets.
a what?
Disc
Yeah.
golf baskets.
Yeah, just.
That's
we talked
still
about
on the
that
wish
last
list.
time.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep bringing it up because
Right,
it's still a wish list item.
yeah, which isn't a very expensive project.
No, but kids use them and go to places where they can have access. But
No,
it's
we
your
would
same
probably
question.
have
Is a
room
good
at the
one.
big park at American Heritage.
That's what we talked about last
Yeah.
time. 'Cause you can go through down in through the trees and stuff.
Yeah,
You could do them in a bunch of parks, actually.
So it's just, my theme is throwing stuff. Throwing things and not necessarily towards glass windows. So you think about it. Turns out,
so it's just that little structure for the disc golf.
yeah. But it has to be installed properly so someone doesn't make off with it and put it in their own backyard.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a concrete base where the pole goes into.
Yeah.
right. Have we got any new parks catalogs?
If
Yeah.
I do, I always throw them in Dale's tray.
I've got a bunch of. Yeah, they're just those things.
Yeah. $300, $200.
Yeah, them are for really nice ones. Like that catalog, they got some other ones in there.
That $200 one that just sits on the ground, I think we'd want it.
Oh, yeah,
Permanently.
yeah, that's just a base they give you.
Yeah,
It'll come off of that. It's just like our, what are they called? The ball game that we have with the poles. Tetherball, yeah, that nobody uses. And we end up just taking the balls off there because they cut them and
Right.
throw them.
yeah.
Those kind of things go in phases, don't they? Where they're popular for a little while, then you gotta upgrade to the next thing, whatever the kids
Yeah.
are playing.
We put 2 new balls on the one on rolling wheels last year, and both times they were cut with a knife. They're not even playing with it, they just
That's too bad.
cut them.
That's too bad.
So we just took it off now. There's nothing on there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nobody's missed it.
Yeah, I know, you just hate when that vandalism.
I know.
Yeah.
That stinks. Well, those are my wish list items. I'll just throw those into the mix for
Okay.
Wes, because I think they both require just a little bit of installation help.
yeah,
Disc golf wouldn't be bad.
no, we could install that,
Yeah.
bag of concrete mix and level it up.
Is that all open over there at American Park over there? Is that all open, that backside?
Yeah,
There's a
There's
rock in the middle of it.
there is a rock.
Obstacle.
Yeah, right?
It's in the ground. We can see the top of it.
Yeah.
It's about the size of this room. There's 3 soccer fields out there in that front area, but
This area isn't used for anything really, is it?
No, that area, they
No.
don't want to go back there for some reason. It slopes
It
a little bit,
slopes.
so.
To the north.
Actually, you could almost work it or set it up to go back to the other park.
Right.
Yeah, well, we thought about, putting a couple trees back in that open area too. And that might be nice. Then they have a little something to aim through, and then we do have a path through from one part to the other now.
Okay.
We
Then
could,
you've got bark chips down
yeah,
most of the time.
as they last.
Most of the time.
It's nice to have something other than just open.
Yeah, but we could widen that out a little bit too. It's a good winter project.
Well, and it appeals to middle school, high school kids who have kind of aged out of some of the little kid equipment in the parks. And I think that's why I was kind of
And there's
advocating
every
for that.
room at Cedar Knolls.
Actually, I think some of the high schools are even doing that now as a sport.
They are,
Yeah,
MG started a little club,
okay.
so, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
Capitol View would be kind of cool too. Have one out front and have one in the back somewhere. Throw through the wooded area.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be nice to have something like that, work through the woods.
Okay,
See if we can get a wall crate. Through that one catalog. You know, if you buy 10 of them, you
Yeah.
can get them for $50 a piece versus.
yeah. Okay,
I wonder if that, the guy down on Milwaukee Street would have access to.
Oh, that has the, where you go by the discs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Why, that my son works for him. His name is
Oh.
Mike.
okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, to
Yeah,
that
when-
question, I mean, absolutely to ask what the PDGA recommendation is for this kind of recreational
Right.
spot. In a heartbeat, we could ask him.
Yeah, and if he has a recommendation for what everybody's going to, or,
Mhm.
you know, I
Yeah.
would think they're not all the same.
No, and I'm thinking the high school kids, well, especially during COVID, the high school kids were outside playing all the time. So
Right.
that's the audience I think we're after in our little parks is the neighborhood kids.
mhm,
So they might be satisfied, I guess my point there was they might be satisfied with something that's a step lower than what the professional people are
Right.
using right now. 'Cause I really didn't even know you can, well, it turns out you can be a pro disc golfer, so. Turns out, you get enough sponsors.
do you have any trees to replace or need to plant in any of the parks?
Well, we could always add some. We haven't had to take, we haven't had to take any down this year.
Okay,
Had a couple fall down, but they were box elder.
okay, so then what do we want to recommend to the town board for a 23 parks budget? Gonna have your lawn maintenance still at 10?
Yeah, I wouldn't think fertilizing and stuff's gonna go up a whole lot. It's probably gonna go up a little bit.
Capital improvements, we
You got
would hope for 110.
110.
If we can't get 110, what figure would we want?
120?
Separate from the park shelter,
Right,
and that just for,
other equipment.
yeah,
So do the kinds of things we're talking about now, pickleball, you mentioned, baskets for disc golf or, throwing circle, these are all with under $1,000 kind of things. I mean, I shouldn't say pickleball.
That would
might be
fall
10,
into the 10 grand,
But like,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be that much.
so,
to get some of
yeah.
those.
So would we want to ask for like a set amount separate from the capital improvement?
yeah. It,
Yeah,
just in case they say no
That's
to
where my
this,
head
Mhm.
then I can come back and say, okay, then we need X number of dollars for pickleball or disc golf or.
Well, even if they said yes to it, wouldn't you want?
You still want to get some of
Yeah.
that stuff, right?
I'm with you on that. I was gonna say, this is
We can
either
ask
or.
until the money runs
Why
out.
don't you take it to 12 when the 10 instead, then you put it in that one, right?
Well, you could leave that as lawn maintenance and then have this be other improvements or other equipment or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. And then what do you think you need to do some of those other things?
I mean, so a commercial disc golf for for like on a course, it's $395 each per course, or if you're buying singles, it's $500 a piece, and it's more of a heavy duty kind of galvanized.
$395 each. How,
I remember thinking, I think that's a reasonable estimate, because I remember thinking for $400 or $500 to, but you needed the concrete also, and,
for them to sit
but
in?
then maybe get a discount if you're getting 5 of them, or, so just on those kinds of things, I think we'd be asking for $8,000 to $10,000 for other improvements. That was the number that was coming to my mind,
Okay,
but I would go higher if other people thought we wanted to go higher. I don't know how that works in the
Well,
town.
we don't want to go back from 15, do we?
Well, I mean, they gave us 15 last year for.
So if anything, we'd want to go up.
Well, I'm really comfortable with that if we said the other improvements are in that range, and then the
We-
shelter
we
idea.
we
is a
gave you
separate
more than
item.
15, because we paid for installation and the ground cover,
Yeah, for chips.
yeah, for chips.
So if we do 15 and then have the building be a separate line item.
Yeah,
Yeah.
110 shelter question mark and 15,000 for equipment.
Great.
Did you say that you would like to plant a couple of trees at American?
Yeah,
Would that?
yeah, usually we like do like $1,400 worth. Whatever that gets us that.
Buy them from McKay and they go pick them up, plant them. Sometimes they have to water them all summer, but
Yeah,
Is that part of your 10,000 or is that?
usually I take it out of there, yeah.
Okay.
That's what we've done in years past anyway.
That's where trees go in the,
yeah.
I think when I applied to be on this committee, I imagined that there would, like, this is all very enjoyable. I thought there would be, I don't know, more arguing or something. This is great. I feel really thrilled about this. I think these are good things.
easy to ask.
When we have to find it, that it
Yeah, right.
becomes the problem.
Go to a zoning meeting.
Sounds like I'm on the right committee.
So does someone want to make a motion for the 110 shelter, 15 equipment for the 23 budget?
I can do that if you want. I'll just read it back to you, what you just said. I'd like to move that we propose for the 2023 Parks budget to include $10,000 for lawn maintenance, possible trees, $110,000 estimated for a shelter behind Town Hall, and $15,000 for equipment or other improvements in the existing parks.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second for the 2023 budget for 110,000 lawn maintenance, 10,000, 110 for shelter in back of the town hall, 15,000 for various equipment purchases. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. What else? Anything else?
Now, one question.
Yep.
The 110, is that a number whereas we can't get like half of it? Or is that just a number
It's all
for
or
them to
nothing.
start with and they may say, we only get 50?
It's a number for us to start with.
Okay.
They may say, well, I can only afford to give you 45 or 65 in 23.
Okay, and the
You
rest?
don't have to spend it.
Right. Okay,
Keep it in capital for 24 and then come back and ask for whatever the increase in costs would be in 24. Would be
also,
my suggestion.
is that 20,000 that's in the fund right now, are we able to use some of that too if we come up short?
That might be where the town board finds some of the money.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And they may, decide to use that and then they'll have to figure out where they might find the
Yeah.
rest.
Right, okay,
That 21,000.
Right.
Roughly.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Someone make a motion for number 8
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
and a second. It's non-debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. And as we get more information from that timber place, we'll send that out to you.
Awesome.
Glenville timber rates.